Brainstorm, bringing great minds and ideas together, exploring a wide variety of opportunities, achieving academic excellence, using the latest technology, government's impact, preparing for 21st century careers, parenting and health issues, topics shaping tomorrow. Brainstorm with Lisa Willever, bringing great minds and ideas together.
Hi, welcome to Brainstorm. I'm Lisa Willever, and today we are talking about a very important topic. We are talking about safe traffic stops. And before we begin, we will learn a little bit more about our topic. We've all been there. You're driving down the road, you're singing your favorite songs, wind blowing through your hair, and then you see the lights. Your heart might race and you may suddenly start to feel a little anxiety. The most important part of the situation, however, is what you do next. The way a driver reacts when pulled over can have a dramatic effect on what happens next. Safe Stop is working to ensure that every traffic stop ends safely for all involved. So joining me today, we have the Mercer County, New Jersey prosecutor, Angelo Onofre. Angelo, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to share this very important information with us.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. This has really been a very important initiative, not only for our former Attorney General, Chris Perino, but our current Attorney General, Gurbir Grewal, who prior to becoming the Attorney General was the Bergen County prosecutor, and he's done this same Safe Stop presentation that we'll be talking about today through a lot of high schools and schools up in Bergen County. So we're glad that we can share this with your audience today.
It's such an important topic. Now, before we begin, why don't you give me a little bit of your background?
Sure. I'm born and raised here in Mercer County, New Jersey. I became the county prosecutor on an acting basis in 2015, and then I was appointed to a full term in December of 2016. Mercer is really kind of a conglomerate county. We have, urban areas with the city of Trenton. We also have very pastoral places like Hopewell, New Jersey and Pennington, New Jersey. So we really do see a lot of everything. But the one constant is motor vehicles that we have here. And here in Mercer County, with parts of the New Jersey Turnpike, several of the interstate highways, and many state roads running through Mercer County, this has become a very important initiative for us to reach out to the public, particularly young drivers, to inform them what their rights are during a traffic stop, but also what their responsibilities are.
I don't think you could do anything more important right now for kids who are starting to drive. But I have to be honest, when I first heard about the program, my initial thoughts were new drivers. And then I watched your program, and I realized I would fail on all counts. Everything other than maybe getting out of the car, because I would never do that. But I think this is really for everyone, because I'm in my 40s. I think even my parents' generation, my generation, I think people just figure when you get pulled over, you want to be prepared. So you start digging around in your purse. Men are pulling their wallets out. A lot of movement, a lot of going into the glove compartment. So I learned so much. And as a mother of my two oldest are teenagers, they're new drivers. And I didn't think to tell them these things until I saw your presentation, and it made a huge impact.
Well, it was interesting. We had an opportunity to present this at Steinert High School in Hamilton Township, and we did it for the driver's education classes. And it was interesting. After one of the presentations, one of the driver's ed instructors came up to me and said, I've been teaching this wrong my whole career.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about you always want to be prepared for when the police officer comes to the car. But as we'll see in some of the videos that we're going to play today, the reality is that those kind of movements really put the officer on edge. And you're going to hear some very great tips about keeping your hands on the wheel of the car, rolling windows down, putting the dome light on. So the officer
never would have thought of that,
yes,
ever. And at night, it's got to be very scary. If you're an officer, you don't know what you're coming up to.
It is.
Never thought about it.
And it really is something interesting, because I have to say I did it myself. And as you know, my daughter's 27. She's a nurse. And I had asked her, what she would do if she was stopped. And her first answer was, well, I'd get out of the car and go over and talk to the officer.
Wrong.
So she said, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So that, and you know, we're a law enforcement family, so that kind of crystallized everything for me with just how important this program was.
It wakes you up. It really does. I mean, when I started driving, my father's only advice was two things. When you get to the intersection, the cemetery's filled with people who have the right of way. And the other one was, if you get in an accident, it's an accident. If you leave, it's a crime. Don't forget that. You know, they never told us about if you get pulled over, but times have changed and it's really become an issue we need to pay attention to. You've enlisted the help of some amazing people. Shaquille O'Neal, one of the, a New Jersey guy who's been all over the world and is so famous, and he took time out of his day to work with you on this. So you want to show the video?
Sure, that would be great.
All right, so let's watch Shaquille O'Neal talking about safe stops.
Shaq here. Nobody likes traffic stops, but if there's a stop, we all want it to be easy, smooth, and safe. Safe Stop is designed to provide education about your rights and knowing the law. If you're stopped by the police, things like staying calm and following the officer's instructions will make it a safe stop. Know your rights, know the law. Visit safestopnj.com to learn more.
So what I'm hearing him say is something that really goes against what people feel when they're pulled over, is stay calm. You know, you get that anxiety and you start to panic a little bit. But that's such great advice, is to just remind yourself, just take a deep breath and stay calm and to know your rights. Do you feel like this campaign is going to really help people to know rights they didn't know they had?
I do. And really it's two-pronged. What everybody wants at the end of the day is for the person who's being stopped to go home safely and for the officer to go home safely. And what the public kind of needs to understand is that the traffic stops are extremely dangerous. There's other cars buzzing by. We hear hundreds of stories about police officers getting hit by other cars while they're on a traffic stop. Particularly at nighttime, it's an extremely dangerous situation. So when Shaq says that he wants, and everybody wants the stops to be easy and smooth, that's absolutely true. But he gave us two really important pieces of advice. The first one is to stay calm. And you're exactly right. You're a little anxious.
Adrenaline going.
Yeah, and plus you're like, I can't believe this cop pulled me over. I didn't do anything wrong. So you go through
Look
that.
how fast those guys are going.
Exactly. Why did he stop me? So really, just the stay calm part is very important. And the other thing that he talked about was to follow the instructions.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, you never know when the officer's walking up to the car. A lot of times it could just be, sir, your tail light's out. Make sure you get it fixed, then they give you a warning. Or sometimes they may just give you a warning. But if you start to fly off the handle, then that makes the situation even more dangerous. On the other side, we want to let the motoring public know, not only here in New Jersey, but this is really the same across the country.
And this has been a model for places all over the country. This is amazing. So go ahead. What would you like them all to know?
Attorney General Perino and Attorney General Graywall have all been contacted by other states and cities about the Safe Stop initiative.
Great.
But we also really want to inform the motoring public that if they believe that they're treated unfairly, or if the officer is discourteous, that they have rights also.
Okay.
And one of the important things, and we all see it from a lot of the TV shows that are on, but all police cars have the dash camera. In a lot of states, including New Jersey, are now going to body-worn cameras. So it's not just the driver's word against the police officer's word. There's now actual video footage of it. And the police need to be courteous to the motoring public. And if that doesn't happen, we just want the public to know that they do have recourse.
That's amazing. Now, the next video is from Detective Kim Nelson Edwards, and this one was really powerful also. Let's watch this one.
Hi, I'm Kim Nelson Edwards. I'm a mother, a grandmother, and I also happen to be a detective in Montclair, New Jersey. I want to talk about traffic stops. I've made plenty over the years, and I've been stopped myself. I understand how stressful they can be. The best things you can do in a traffic stop is to stay calm, know your rights, and know the law. Here's some other tips. Stay in your car. If it's dark, turn on your dome light. Make sure that your window is rolled down. Have your hands on the steering wheel. When the officer asks for your license, registration, and insurance card, please provide them. That's the law. If the officer asks you to exit the vehicle, please do it. Again, that's the law. If you feel that you didn't deserve to be pulled over or were treated unfairly, file a complaint. That's your right. Remember, my job is to keep everyone safe.
You know, she not only reinforced what Shaq gave to the viewers, but she brought up things that, again, you know, you hear it and you think, why didn't I ever think of this before? Put the light on so the officer can see what's happening in the car and probably reduce their tension level. Put your hands where they can be seen. You know, I'm usually in a wild panic fishing through my purse, yelling at one of my kids to, you know, find the right insurance card, the one with the right year. And
Sure.
it's, you know, a lot of it's our not being prepared, but, you know, it's such simple things that can avoid something very simple going really wrong.
It's true. In about a minute, Kim really summarized everything that you're supposed to do during a traffic stop. And really, it really is about easing the officer's concerns and diffusing what could be a potentially volatile situation. You know, we're going to hear that advice over and over again. Stay calm, stay in your car. Roll the windows down. This way the officer can see in so that they don't think that they'll get ambushed. Turn the dome light on if it's dark. You know, place your hands on the steering wheel. If your hands are on the steering wheel, then the officer can see that you're not reaching for a weapon. And that's also going to help diffuse the situation. So all these little tips really do help just to make that traffic stop a lot safer for both parties.
So now the next video, when we come back from our break, will be from Jesse Armstead from the New York Giants.
Yes.
And I'm very, you know, I love the fact that each video focuses on something. They reiterate the very important points, but they've all added a little something to each stop. And I think as a mom, but also as a driver, and somebody who has, you know, parents who are getting older now, you know, they're still driving. This is so important for everybody. I mean, I think this is an amazing model, what you've put together. It's wonderful.
Well, it was really the Attorney Generals. We're just kind of doing the road show.
Well,
so,
your road show is awesome, and the
you.
Attorney General can be very proud because I think this will save lives.
Thank you.
I really do. So we will be back in a moment with more brainstorm and some more tips on how to have safe traffic stops. And we're back with more Brainstorm. I'm very lucky to be speaking to Mercer County, New Jersey prosecutor Angelo Onofre, and we are talking about safe traffic stops and a program in particular that New Jersey's really put a lot of effort into called Safe Stops. And you have enlisted the help. We've already seen a video from Shaquille O'Neal and from Detective Edwards. So now we are going to watch a video from Jesse Armstead from the New York Giants. So as a Giants fan, I'm very curious to see what he's going to say.
I'm Jesse Armstead, former All-Pro linebacker for the New York Giants. I want to talk to you about traffic stops. Traffic stops are easy when there's mutual respect and understanding. Law enforcement needs to be courteous and professional, and so does anyone being pulled over. I've been pulled over by the police. I remain calm. and stayed in my car. I was polite to the officer. I was on my way in no time. If you ever feel you've been treated unfairly, don't argue it on the road. File a complaint. It's your right. Together, we can make sure that everyone gets home safely.
So again, he reiterated the main theme, but then he added the whole respect and the mutual respect, which I think is, you nailed it when you said people need to know their rights, but also their responsibilities. And the way you address an officer, your mannerisms verbally, I'm sure that can really add to, escalating a situation or de-escalating it. Is that correct?
It is. And, just by way of background, Jesse Armstead's an all-pro linebacker that was with the Giants. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion, and he's also a member of the Giants Ring of Honor. He's one of the truly recognizable figures, not only here in New Jersey, but he was also a legendary player at the University of Miami, as well as Dallas Carter High School. Jesse, when he agreed to participate in Safe Stop, and it was big for us because Jesse has his business here in Mercer County, Hamilton Honda, and he's a very big player and role model in the community.
Very involved.
So when we had a chance to meet with Attorney General Perino for Jesse to get involved with the program, he related a story that when he was at the University of Miami, he was actually pulled over as he was leaving the local mall. And the police officers thought Jesse had robbed a store inside the mall. And the officer told Jesse to step out of the car with his hands up. And Jesse said, "Officer, if you can open my door, you'll see it wasn't me." He had just had surgery on his knee and was in a complete cast. So by staying calm, by being respectful to the officer, Jesse went home safe, the officer went home safe, and looked and really went on to try to find the person who actually committed the crime. So we thought having Jesse being involved with this together with his story was actually something big for us. And again, this is somebody who's very recognized, not only here in New Jersey, but across a lot of the country. And to have him involved was something very significant.
And for him to have, back then have been so calm before, we're all being taught this whole skill level now. But for him to have done that on his own, I mean, that could have gone horribly wrong. Yeah,
absolutely. And the other important piece of advice that he gave is don't argue on the roadside. That's going to keep escalating things. And if again, there's this whole complaint process that the motorist can file with the local police department. And at least here in New Jersey, if they feel the police department isn't acting on it, they can always call the county prosecutor or the attorney general, and then we will take over to see if the person's rights were violated.
Smart advice, absolutely. I have another video here from Officers Bagby and Agron, and I am very interested. I did see this one before, and I think it'll be very helpful for the viewers.
Hello. I'm Officer Tyrell Bagby with the Camden County Police Department.
And I'm Officer Michael Agron.
We pride ourselves on community policing and the positive effects it has on our interactions with the public.
The New Jersey Attorney General Safe Stop program takes the same principle and applies them to traffic stops. Educating the police is crucial, and we're doing that. But it's also important to educate the public.
For example, simply staying in your car unless asked to get out is good to know. This will help ease an officer's concern since they have to treat every stop as a potentially dangerous one.
Remaining calm and courteous communications by both parties will help avoid an escalated situation.
We want everyone to be safe.
Again, just such great information. What would you like to add to theirs?
Well, for what those officers said, I think there's two very important things. The first one is that a major part of this program is educating the police and reminding the police that they have an obligation to be courteous to motorists. The other really comes down to that the Attorney General here in New Jersey has really placed a sharp emphasis on educating the police There's anti-bias police training that's mandatory.
Okay.
There's de-escalation training that's mandatory. And you know, you can help the officers with these trainings, but ultimately it comes down to one thing. The officer wants respect and the driver wants respect. And as long as you have that communication and that two-way street, that'll also help de-escalate the traffic stop. And you know, finally, it really is the two C's are the big thing: calm and courteous.
Calm and courteous, just very simple.
Yep,
Doesn't cost
exactly.
a dime and could really save your life and the officers.
True, and as the officer said, by doing these things, it can help ease their concerns, because the traffic stops are very dangerous. And again, we can see all the, you know, real police story shows and things along those lines. Officers getting dragged off in a car, officers being shot at, you know, officers being struck by that car that they just pulled over. So it is a dangerous situation for the officer, but by kind of following these tips, not only from Officers Bagby and Agron, but from Jesse Armstead and Kim, and as we'll see in a few moments, Bishop Jethro James.
Yes, he has some really great ones.
And Bishop James has really 7 tips that are critical, and it kind of boils the whole Safe Stop program down into 2 minutes.
Let's give him some time here.
Hello, I'm Bishop Jethro C. James, pastor of the Paradise Baptist Church in Newark, New Jersey. I'm committed to making traffic stops safer in New Jersey and across the nation. Here are 7 tips I've put together for the safety of everyone. Number 1, when stopped in a motor vehicle, place your hands on the steering wheel at the 11 and 2 o'clock position. Number 2, open all windows in the vehicle, allowing officers to see clearly inside, as tinted windows tend to heighten the anxiety factor. Turn on inside dome lights. Number 3, do not reach for anything unless you tell the officer what you are doing and get his or her permission before you act. For example, my papers are in the glove box. May I get them? Any movement may be mistaken as if you are reaching for a weapon. Number 4, the manner in which you address the officer is essential. Please address officers with yes, sir, or yes, ma'am. Number 5, know who is riding with you or with whom you are riding. If it is your vehicle and friends or family members are in possession of weapons or drugs, it becomes the legal problem of all parties. Number 6, do not run. Fleeing is a felony. And finally, never reach toward an officer, as this may be perceived as an attempt to gain access to their weapon. Follow these simple 7 tips, and everyone will have a safe stop.
Well, you know, he really boiled that down. Those 7 tips are really, I mean, they are going to keep people safe. The one that really stood out was know who's in your car, because sometimes, especially teenagers, you know, they're at college or they're coming out of school and, you know, friends of friends get in their car, and I think that's so important. How would you summarize everything for everyone across the country? Because we've got people all over the country watching, and they all need to know this.
Sure. What I would say is that calm and courteous are going to win the day.
Okay.
And also, just as a kind of a bit of piece of advice for any of the drivers out there, really know who's driving with you, because if that person has something illegal on them or put something illegal in your car, that can come back to you, and you elevate things from what's only a traffic stop into a potential criminal investigation.
Well, you know what? This is really life-saving information. And what I'd like to do now, we do a thing on this show. This show is about sharing ideas and information. And, you know, when you brainstorm, you get a lot of good ideas, bad ideas, you kind of go through them. So I'd like to play brainstorm with you right now. We have 8 ideas pertaining to the topic. If they're good, we'll keep them.
Okay.
But if they're bad, you get to ball them up, and then you get to show us some skills here. So you have to throw them into the basket.
Let's hope. I went to Villanova. They're in their Sweet 16 now, so let's hope I can make a
let's
shot.
see how you do here. There's a lot riding on this. Idea 1, remaining calm is critical for a safe stop.
That's absolutely a
Number
fantastic
1, right?
idea.
Number 2, officers enjoy loud music when approaching a vehicle.
Yeah, no.
Maybe turn the radio
Yeah.
off.
And in fact, Lisa, Bishop James, when you speak to him in person,
There you go.
always says, turn the music down. This way you can hear the officer and the officer can
It's
hear you.
common sense, really.
Exactly.
Idea 3, keeping your hands visible is not very important.
Oh, that's absolutely critical.
Okay, you get that one a good shot there.
That's right.
Let's see what you got. Yeah, 2 for 2, not bad. Lying to officers is a good idea if you think you won't get caught.
The only thing worse than lying to an officer is lying to your parents
There you
because
go.
they always find out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you're really doing good here. Number 5, never argue with an officer at the stop. File a complaint later.
Yeah, that's great advice. And really the other thing that we can add to that, Lisa, particularly if it's a young driver, go to the police department with your parents.
Yeah, that's
And
great
then,
advice.
you know, you talk to the internal affairs officers on your own, but have your parents go with you.
Good idea. Idea 6, having documents ready and a good attitude can go a long way.
Well, this is one of those that maybe we want to put just on the lip of the basket.
Okay.
Because while the advice is you should know where everything is for when the officer asks for your documentation, but the reaching around makes it seem to the officer like you're trying to hide something or perhaps trying to
So wait
access
till
a
you're
weapon.
invited or give them permission to do
Exactly,
that.
but know where the stuff is.
Okay, rolling down windows and turning on lights can keep a situation calm.
Absolutely.
I agree with that. I will do that every time I'm stopped, even though I will never be stopped again. And idea 8, feel free to stroll over to the officer's vehicle if you have a question.
Absolutely not.
Tell your daughter that one.
Yes, exactly.
Angelo Onofre, I want to thank you so much. You've shared so much valuable information, and I know my viewers appreciate it. I appreciate it. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Brainstorm. We'll see you next time.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.